Chapter 2158 was just as she said. Mo Fangjiao blushed. She felt that Yun Chuzhou was just trying to scare her. Brother Jing, who seemed to be sincere to her. The two sat down and drank some tea. Zhu Jinghu sighed and said, Sister Fangjiao, you know that my mother wants me to marry Sister Fangbing, but I like you. I told my mother about the matter yesterday, but she wouldn't agree no matter what. I'm so angry. Mo Fangjiao's heart sank. It was exactly the same as what Mo Fangchao had said. Could it be that he really had that kind of plan? Mo Fangjiao squeezed out a smile. Brother Jinghu, then what do you think we should do? Why don't we just forget about it? Even if we're fated, we can't do anything about it. Zhu Jingya's face revealed a pained expression. Sister Fangjiao, how can you say that? Do you know how much your brother's heart aches? The only person I want to marry is you. Mo Fangjiao was very touched in her heart. She felt that she had judged the heart of a gentleman with a petty heart. Just as she was about to console Zhu Jinghu, she heard Zhu Jinghu say, Sister Fangjiao, right now, we only have one way to get my mother to agree, and that is to cook rice before it's cooked. When the time comes, my mother will have to agree, and she will have to agree even if she doesn't agree. Mo Fangjiao's hands were tightly clenched in her sleeves. It was exactly the same as what Mo Fangjiao had said. Was he really planning to take advantage of her and force her to become his concubine? Zhu Jinghu saw that Mo Fangjiao didn't say anything, but didn't have any intense reactions. He felt that there was a possibility. He suppressed his joy and said, Sister Fangjiao, don't worry. I, Zhu Jinghu, am definitely not someone who will abandon you. As long as you become my person, I will definitely marry you openly. I, Zhu Jinghu, can only marry you. Mo Fangjiao recalled Yun Chujia's instructions and just lowered her head without saying anything. Zhu Jinghu could not help but be overjoyed when he saw the situation. He whispered, Sister Fangjiao, I will be leaving the morning of the day after tomorrow. Perhaps the marriage will be settled tomorrow, so we have to hurry. There is an inn not far from here. Why don't we? Mo Fangjiao still had a trace of hope in her heart, so she did not brush her sleeves and leave. She said in a low voice, I will go and book a room first. Then, I will send someone to tell you which room. You can go there. After saying that, Mo Fangjiao lowered her head and left hurriedly, looking extremely embarrassed. Zhu Jinghu could not help but feel happy. Although this Mo Fangjiao was beautiful, her brain was really simple. She was so easy to get her hands on. Even if she married into a concubine in the future, it would be very easy to get rid of her. Mo Fangjiao left the tea house. Her heart was in a mess. Although she felt that what Yun Chuzhou said was very likely the final result, she still wanted to verify it. Xiao Yan whispered into Mo Fangjiao's ear, Miss, Chun Xiao just gave me a note. You are reading on MYBOXN0VEL.com. Mo Fangjiao took the note and saw that it said, Wang Family Inn, 2nd floor, room number 3. Mo Fangjiao took a deep breath and brought Xiao Yan to the Wang Family Inn. They went straight to room number 3 on the 2nd floor. Probably because Yun Chuzhou had told them beforehand, no shopkeeper or waiter came to stop them. The two of them entered the room smoothly. Go and tell Zhu Jinghu the address of this place. Don't say anything else, or I won't let you off, Mo Fangjiao said to Xiao Yan with a gloomy face. Xiao Yan did not dare to say anything else. She went out of the room to the tea house and told Zhu Jinghu the address. Zhu Jinghu could not wait to rush to the Wang Family Inn. Just like before, he arrived at room number 3 on the 2nd floor without any obstruction. There were top-quality dishes and wine on the table in the room. Mo Fangjiao sat at the side with a red face. Chapter 2159, The Truth is Revealed. Zhu Jinghu walked in front of Mo Fangjiao and hugged her. Sister Fangjiao, a good night is short. What's there to eat? Let's just make out. Mo Fangjiao used her hand to stop Zhu Jinghu and said gently, Brother Jinghu, this is considered our wedding night. We should at least have a cup of wine. Although Zhu Jinghu was extremely anxious, he didn't dare to be too forceful. He could only patiently take the wine cup that Mo Fangjiao handed over and drink it in one gulp. Sister Fangjiao, are you done now? Zhu Jingya's eyes were like hooks as he stared at Mo Fangjiao. You first go to the bed and take off your clothes. I will be done in a moment. Mo Fangjiao lowered her head and said with a blushing face. Zhu Jinghu naturally wanted nothing more. He took off his clothes in no time and lay on the bed. Sister Fangjiao, hurry up. Mo Fangjiao took off her clothes slowly while counting in her heart. 10, 9, 8. On the bed, Zhu Jinghu only felt his eyelids becoming heavier and heavier. Although he tried his best to stay awake, he still fell asleep. Mo Fangjiao shouted a few times. Seeing that Zhu Jinghu did not respond, she walked to the side of the bed. Her gaze was very complicated. She took out a dagger, gritted her teeth, and cut her arm, dripping fresh blood on the bed. Mo Fangjiao made the bedding into a mess. She also made her eyes red and swollen with the chili noodles that Yun Chuzhou provided. Only then did she sit on the chair and wait for Zhu Jinghu to wake up. Zhu Jinghu had sex with Mo Fangjiao in his dream. When he opened his eyes, he couldn't tell what was going on, but when he saw the messy bedding and the bloodstains on the bed, only then did he confirm that what had just happened was real. Brother Jinghu, I am already your person now. When are you going to my house to propose marriage? Mo Fangjiao's eyes were red and swollen like peaches as she asked plaintively. Zhu Jingya's eyes flashed. Don't worry, I'll tell my mother when I go back tonight. Sister Fangjiao, it's still early. Come, let's have some fun. Mo Fangjiao stood up abruptly. You. If you don't go to my house to propose marriage, I won't do this kind of thing with you anymore. Zhu Jinghu coaxed her for a while more. Seeing that Mo Fangjiao still refused to budge, he became impatient. With a cold face, he said, Mo Fangjiao, don't be ungrateful. To tell you the truth, I have no intention of marrying you at all. If you coax me until I'm happy, I'll take you as my concubine. If you're stubborn, HMPH, don't even think about having a concubine. I don't believe that anyone would marry a ruined woman like you. You are reading on MYBOXN0VEL.com. Although Mo Fangjiao had already believed Yun Chujia's words in her heart, she still had a little bit of fantasy. Now that she heard Zhu Jingya's words, her face turned pale. You're really lying to me? Zhu Jinghu thought that Mo Fangjiao was afraid. He said proudly, you know you're afraid. To tell you the truth, you're just a lady from a third-class family. You still want to be my wife? No way. Come over and serve me obediently. I'll take you in as a concubine. In the future, I'll give birth to a man and a woman. I won't treat you unfairly. Otherwise, I'll spread the news that you've been slept with by me. Let's see who still dares to marry you. Zhu Jinghu, you bastard. Do you really think that I slept with you? The wine that you drank and the drunken dreams that I gave you were just your hallucinations. I, Mo Fangjiao, am really blind to think that you are a good match. Mo Fangjiao could not help but shiver. On one hand, she was angry. On the other hand, she was afraid. If Yun Chuzhou had not reminded her, she could foresee how miserable her future would be. Chapter 2160 will teach you a lesson. Zhu Jinghu was stunned for a moment before he laughed out loud. Mo Fangjiao, your lie is too far-fetched. If you didn't sleep with me, then where did the blood on the bed come from? Mo Fangjiao rolled up the sleeve on her left arm. There was a scratch on it that had not yet healed. She sneered and said, the blood on the bed was caused by my cut on my arm. Zhu Jinghu, your Zhu family is rich and powerful. I can't afford to offend you. However, let me give you a piece of advice. If you walk too much at night, you will meet a ghost sooner or later. Take care of yourself. After saying that, Mo Fangjiao put on the veil that she had prepared beforehand and rushed out of the room. Zhu Jinghu was extremely vexed. This Mo Fangjiao seemed to be simple-minded. He did not expect that she would actually trick him. She was really detestable. Just as Zhu Jinghu was vexed, the door that was originally open was suddenly closed. Zhu Jinghu was stunned. At this moment, the sound of wind came from the back of his head. Before he could react, he was knocked unconscious by something. When Zhu Jinghu woke up, he found him sprawled on the ground. The strange thing was that other than his neck, he could not move the rest of his body. It was as if he was possessed. Just as Zhu Jinghu was panicking, he heard a stuttering woman's voice say, Zhu Lang, you made me suffer so much. I'm alone down there. Come down and accompany me. Zhu Jinghu could only hear the voice but could not see the person. He was so scared that he cried out in pain, You, who are you? You, where are you? You, don't come over. Zhu Lang, don't tell me you don't even remember who I am. Then follow me down there and think about it. Zhu Jinghu felt his neck tighten as if he was strangled by something. He was so scared that he hurriedly said, You're Cui Huan. Yen Qian Yu. Li Fang. Or Dong You can't even remember my name, you heartless man. I'm going to dig out your heart and eat it. The voice said coldly. Zhu Jinghu was so scared that he peed his pants. He now completely believed that he had met a ghost because no matter how much he shouted, no one came to save him. Moreover, he was so strange that he could not move. This kind of stiffness was not caused by the confinement of spiritual power. It was because his body was no longer under his control. Grand Aunt, I beg you. As long as you spare me, I will definitely change my past in the future. When I go back, I will burn paper money for you and hire people to perform rituals for you. Please spare me. Zhu Jinghu's nose was full of mucus and tears as he pleaded. Burn paper money? That's so troublesome. Just give me your storage ring directly. You are reading on MYBOXN0VEL.com. As he spoke, Zhu Jinghu felt the storage ring on his right hand being removed and then disappearing. Great Aunt, since you took the storage ring, please spare me. Zhu Jinghu pleaded. I can spare you, but I have to teach you a lesson. Zhu Jinghu was wondering what the female ghost was talking about when he felt a sharp pain on his face and then fainted. Before Zhu Jinghu fainted, he heard the female ghost say in a sinister tone, I'm warning you, don't tell anyone about what happened today. Otherwise, Cui Huan, Yen Qian Yu, Li Fang, and Dong will come looking for you. When Zhu Jinghu regained consciousness again, he was awakened by his triangular-eyed follower, Young Master, what happened to you? Zhu Jinghu raised his arm and found that he could move, and his Buddha's spiritual power had also recovered. He looked at his right hand again and saw that it was empty, and his spiritual sense was faintly in pain. Apparently, the spiritual sense on the storage ring had been forcefully erased by someone. He felt an unbearable pain on his face. He touched it with his hand and found a hand full of blood. He hurriedly ran to the mirror in the room and took a look. He saw a big cross on one side of his face, which was very ferocious and terrifying. Zhu Jinghu cried out in surprise and fainted again. Chapter 2161 Temporary past. Zhu Jinghu's Sanjiaoyan follower had fed him medicine and injected his spiritual power, finally waking Zhu Jinghu up. Young Master, what's wrong with you? Zhu Jinghu was about to say something when he remembered the female ghost's warning, and his face revealed a terrified expression. He shouted fiercely, Shut up. Is this something you can ask? Hurry up and buy me the flawless muscle pills. If there's a scar on my face, it'll kill you. Sanjiaoyan's lackey didn't dare to say anything more and quickly bought 2 bottles of flawless muscle pills. After applying the flawless muscle pills on his wound, Zhu Jinghu felt a little more at ease. He didn't dare to go back to the Mo family's main house for fear that his mother would press him. After thinking for a while, he came up with an idea. Wang Sheng, send someone to give this letter to my mother. Zhu Jinghu wrote a letter to Pan Shi. The gist of it was that he met a friend and went on a sightseeing trip together. He would return home in a few days and let her return to the Zhu family first. When the Pan family received Zhu Jinghu's letter, they were naturally furious. However, they could do nothing about it. The next day, they also left the Mo family's main house in a hurry. Naturally, their marriage with Mo Fongbing was not settled. Mo family's fifth house, Waning Moon Pavilion. Mo Fangjiao had an awkward expression as she thanked Yun Chujiao. Mo Fangjiao, thank you so much for this. These food are all for you. Yun Chujiao said with a smile, Sister Fangjiao, we are sisters. There's no need to be so polite. Oh right, don't give me this chestnut cake next time. I don't like it. You should give me more lotus cake and spirit fruit. It's best if you give me some candied fruits. Mo Fangjiao. The people of the Mo family suddenly realized that not only had Mo Fangjiao won the great elder's favor, but her relationship with Mo Fongbing and Mo Fangjiao had also suddenly improved. One had to know that Mo Fongbing was famous for being cold and aloof in the Mo family. Although Mo Fangjiao was a little better, she still had an arrogant look on her face. How did they become good friends with Mo Fongbing? It was really strange. Yun Chujiao was very proud of herself. She had gained a lot from this matter with the Zhu family. You are reading on MYBOXN0VEL.com. First of all, after this matter, the great elder recognized her even more. Secondly, she had eased her relationship with Mo Fongbing and Mo Fangjiao. Furthermore, it was very likely that she would tie up with Mo Fongbing in order to obtain a chance to further her studies. Finally, not only did this guy teach Zhu Jinghu a lesson, but Zhu Jinghu's storage ring also had a lot of inventory. This guy had made a small fortune again. Although this guy had played tricks and wasted the remaining Shadow Escape Talisman from last time, Zhu Jinghu still had an unused Shadow Escape Talisman in his storage ring. This guy had made a profit. Although Yun Chujiao was proud of herself, she had a real problem in front of her, the time limit for the temporary pass. She and Mo Xiaoting had already been on the eastern continent for a month. Considering the time they would need to travel, the 2-month time limit for the temporary pass was about to expire. If she didn't want to be punished, she had to return to the western continent as soon as possible, or, the Mo family could immediately get her and Mo Xiaoting 2 more temporary passes. Either way, she and Mo Xiaoting had to return to the border between the eastern and western continents to undergo inspection. Otherwise, they would be put on the wanted list for illegal registration. The next morning, Yun Chujiao came to see the great elder and told him about the temporary pass. The great elder had yet to decide whether to include Guangshuan branch in his family, so he decided to get Yun Chujiao another temporary pass. As for Mo Xiaoting, there was no need for him to stay for the time being. He could return to the western continent and wait for further notice. Chapter 2162, Carrying the World on Your Back. The first elder explained the situation to Mo Xiaoquan. Although Mo Xiaoquan was extremely unwilling, he did not dare to go against the first elder's wishes, so he asked Mo Xiaoan to handle the matter. Mo Xiaoan did not dislike Yun Chujiao as much as Mo Xiaoquan did. Mo Fangjiao had been putting in a good word for Yun Chujiao recently, so Mo Xiaoan did not mind Yun Chujiao staying. At most, he would only provide her with some food. Mo Xiaoan immediately explained Mo Xiaoquan's intentions to Mo Xiaoting. Mo Xiaoting was already mentally prepared, so after some pleasantries, he brought Yun Chujiao to the border between the eastern and western continents. This time, Manager Lu accompanied them. Manager Lu was now completely in awe of Yun Chujiao. TSK, this young lady was simply a god. She had only been here for a month and had already settled the first elder. Who knew, she might soon become an official resident of the Eastern continent. Mo Xiaoting, on the other hand, had a lot on his mind. Yun Chujiu was so smart, when no one was around. So, he asked in a low voice, "Grandfather, are you worried that I will only care about myself and not our Guangshenzi?" "Don't worry, I am not the type of person to ignore my family. Besides, I want to establish myself in my own family. If I don't have the support of Guangshenzi, I am nothing." Although Mo Xiaoting felt that Yun Chujiu's words were a little unrefined, he was at least a little relieved. It made sense. If it wasn't for Guang Xuanji, Fang Chao would have no one to rely on. Moreover, her mother's grave was still in Guang Shunzi's ancestral grave. She would never be ungrateful. 8 days later, the flying spiritual device arrived at the border between the eastern and western continents. After Mo Xiaoting handed in the temporary pass, he gave Yun Chujiu a few instructions. After crossing the border between the two continents, he found the Mo family's guards and reluctantly left. He Shi and the others did not see Yun Chujiu, so their hearts were in a mess. They used their courage to ask Mo Xiaoting a question. After finding out that Yun Chujiu was safe and sound, they felt relieved. However, they were a little disappointed. Would the little ancestor who promised to take them on a pretentious flight abandon them? On the other side, Yun Chujiu brought Manager Lu to the staff on duty and prepared to renew a temporary pass for Yun Chujiu. The leader on duty today was a slightly hunched middle-aged man. Usually, he was very flattering the people who came and went, so he was very arrogant. Seeing the Mo family token that Manager Lu handed over, she couldn't help but curl her lips. Mo family? A third-class family just can't do it. A second-class family only has a pass for 4 months, and a third-class family only has 2 months. The two of them added together can only last as long as one of them. Yun Chujiu's eyes suddenly lit up, and an idea suddenly came to her mind. "You are reading on MYBOXN0VEL, sir, may I have a word with you?" Yun Chujiu said with a smile. Hunchback pursed his lips, but still brought Yun Chujiu to the side. "Little girl, what's the matter?" "Sir, I won't hide it from you. I know some face-to-face skills. One look and you can tell that you are an extraordinary person. Sooner or later, you will amaze everyone." Yun Chujiu said with a face full of admiration. The hunchback looked at Yun Chujiu suspiciously. He couldn't help but sneer, "Little girl, you are simply lying through your teeth. I know my own limitations. Let's not talk about other things. I am a hunchback. What good fortune can I have?" "Sir, what you said is wrong. Haven't you heard of a saying? A hunchback carries the universe. Your hunchback is very particular. This means that you are a person with great fortune, which is why your back bulges. To put it bluntly, the reason why bastards live longer is because of a hunchback. Therefore, your hunchback definitely has a hidden meaning. Believe me, sooner or later, you will rise to the top." Yun Chujiu said mysteriously. Chapter 2163 Yun Chujiu's Fox Tale. When the hunchbacked leader heard Yun Chujiu's words, his face was filled with confusion and bewilderment. Although it was a little inappropriate for the little girl to compare him to a bastard, this was the first time she had heard of someone who carried the universe on his back. Could it be that he was really a person with great luck? When Yun Chujiu saw that the hunchback did not scold her, she knew that the hunchback was willing to listen to such words. Hence, she continued with a smile, "When the heavens bestow a great task on a person, they must first work hard on their will, strain their muscles and bones, and starve their skin. This hunchback of yours is used by the heavens to temper your will. As long as you are tenacious, sooner or later, you will stand out and amaze everyone." When Hunchback was tricked by Yun Chujiu, he immediately felt that the hunchback on his back was not a hunchback. It was simply a witness to amaze everyone. Subconsciously, he straightened his back and felt that his future was bright. The blood in his body was boiling. He wished that he could immediately do something spectacular. When Yun Chujio saw that he was almost done fooling her, she began to reveal her fox tail. She lowered her voice and said, "My lord, this is just a small token of appreciation. Please keep it well. You must not reject it. I am investing it in advance. When you soar to the sky, please take care of me." Hunchback was very surprised when he saw the spirit stones that Yun Chujio turned over. He did not expect that Yun Chujio would be so generous. She actually gave him 1,000,000 high-grade spirit stones in one go. This little girl was really generous. Hunchback couldn't believe it. This little girl gave him 1,000,000 high-grade spirit stones just because she thought highly of him. Could it be that he was really lucky? "Master, if there's nothing else, I'll leave first. If we're fated, we'll meet again." Yun Chujio turned around and prepared to leave. When Hunchback saw that Yun Chujio was really going to leave, he finally believed that Yun Chujio really didn't have any other requests. She just wanted to express her sincerity. A warm feeling welled up in the Hunchback's heart. He had lived for so many years, but this was the first time he had been admired and admired so much. This feeling could not be described with words. He felt that if he did not do something, his conscience would definitely hurt. Thus, he said, "Little girl, wait a moment." Yun Chujio turned her head and asked doubtfully, "Sir, what orders do you have?" Hunchback felt even more apologetic. Listen to how respectful the little girl was to him. Orders really made him feel very sincere. "Little girl, is there anything that you need my help with?" Hunchback asked eagerly. "Well, I don't have anything to trouble you with for the time being. Thank you very much," Yun Chujio said very politely. Hunchback felt even more apologetic. It was as if he didn't help Yun Chujio with something, he felt that he was unforgivable. You are reading on MYBOXN0VEL.com at this moment. Yun Chujio frowned, she seemed to have remembered something. "Sir, I remember that I really do have something that I need your help with. But, forget it. It seems to be a little difficult, so I won't trouble you." Yun Chujio was about to turn around and leave when her Hunchback's eyes lit up. "It's no trouble. It's no trouble. What exactly do you want?" This, all right. Since you've asked, then I'll be thick-skinned and say it. Isn't the Mo family's temporary pass limited to one person for 2 months? However, now that I'm the only one left, can you count the rights of these 2 people on me? This means that I have 4 months to stay, so I don't have to come over to renew it. After all, I've wasted a lot of time on the road. Please don't make things difficult for me. If it's difficult, just pretend that I didn't say anything," Yun Chujio said with an embarrassed look. Chapter 2164, the 4-month limit. After Hunchback heard Yun Chujio's words, he readily agreed. "What's so difficult about that? Don't worry, I'll directly give you a pass for the 4-month limit." "Oh right, little girl, I've been on duty here for the past year. You don't have to come here personally next time. Just send your subordinate over. I'll also give you a pass for the 4-month limit. An obedient little girl like you won't do anything bad. There's no need for tests or anything like that." Yun Chujio was pleasantly surprised. She covered her mouth with her hand and looked incredulous. "My lord, is this really okay? It won't bring you any trouble, right?" The Hunchback's confidence suddenly swelled. He patted his chest and said, "I can still make the decision on such a small matter. Don't worry." Yun Chujio naturally thanked him profusely. Her compliments were like free money. It was as if she was trying to trick the Hunchback to the point that he was standing shoulder to shoulder with the sun. The 2 of them chatted for a while more before Hunchback brought Yun Chujio back to the office and looked at Manager Lu a few times. The reason why Hunchback looked at Manager Lu a few times was to remember him the next time he came. However, Manager Lu had a misconception. What exactly did this little ancestor say to this manager? Why did that manager keep looking at him? Could it be that the little ancestor was scheming against him again? That was not right. He had not provoked the little ancestor recently. Hunchback quickly completed a temporary pass and handed it to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio took the pass and happily brought Manager Lu onto the flying spirit tool. After the flying spirit tool traveled for a distance, Yun Chujio waved at Manager Lu. Manager Lu, come here. I want to show you something good. Manager Lu looked baffled. When he walked over, Yun Chujio waved a jade slip in her hand. Miss Fang Chao, isn't this a temporary pass? Manager Lu asked in confusion. Yun Chujio pouted and handed the temporary pass to Manager Lu. Manager Lu took it and looked at it, then he was dumbfounded. 4 months. That's not right. Our MO family only has 2 months of authority, why is your temporary pass limited to 4 months? Manager Lu rubbed his eyes and read it several times, word by word. Manager Lu, that's why you still have to continue learning. You still have a lot to learn. Although our MO family only has 2 months of authority, isn't it 4 months for the two of us together? Now that my grandfather has returned, of course I have 4 months left. Yun Chujio said with a smug look. You are reading on MYBOXN0VEL, this fellow felt that spending 1 million spiritual stones was simply worth it. This way, she would save at least half a month's time on the inside and outside. Moreover, she wouldn't have to come over personally next time, which would save a lot of time. What was time? Time was money. 1 million spiritual stones was a small matter. Manager Lu was completely dumbfounded. Why did she bring it along like this? He had never heard that a family's pass could add up to a person's head. This was too incredible. Just as Manager Lu was in a daze, Yun Chujio said leisurely, do you know why that hunchback kept staring at you? Manager Lu shook his head with a blank look, I don't know. Do you know the reason, Miss Fang Chao? Yes, the reason why the hunchback looked at you was to remember your appearance. Because the next time I change my temporary pass, I don't have to come over personally. You can just take my temporary pass and change it for me for 4 months. Chapter 2165, paying her to shut up. Manager Liu's mouth was wide open. His eyes were filled with shock and disbelief. This could be done. What exactly did this great aunt say to that hunchback? That hunchback actually treated her so well. Could it be that hunchback was her long-lost relative? Do you really want to know how I did it? Yun Chujio asked with a smile. Manager Lu nodded his head vigorously. He was really curious. I can tell you, but this is a good opportunity for you to learn. Are you going to listen to me for nothing? Yun Chujio crossed her legs and asked with a half-smile. How much is that? Manager Lu staggered. He had to pay for the tuition fee to listen to gossip. Little ancestor, can you be more unkind? We are old acquaintances. I won't charge you more. 1 million. Manager Lu shook his head like a rattledrum. Miss Fang Chao, I still won't listen. Why are you in such a hurry? I haven't finished speaking. We are so close. I'll give you a discount. 200,000. How about it? The discount is low enough, right? Let me tell you. Don't look at it as a small matter. You can learn many tricks from it. I guarantee that you will benefit from it for your whole life. 200,000 is just the money for a high-end dress. 200,000 won't make you suffer, 200,000 won't make you fall for it, Miss Fang Chao, I'll buy it. I'll buy it. Manager Lu thought to himself. I'll buy her to shut up with money. Otherwise, this little ancestor might turn 200,000 into 500,000. Yun Chujio accepted Manager Liu's 200,000 with a smile. That's right. Money is a bastard. If we lose it, we'll earn more. We only get what we give up. Manager Liu's face was stiff. It was easy to say. Was money that easy to earn? In the blink of an eye, the 200,000 yuan was gone. He wanted to hear how this little ancestor tricked that hunchback. Yun Chujio immediately told Manager Lu the whole story. Manager Lu was dumbfounded. How could she play this game? She was the one who asked the hunchback to do something. How did it become that the hunchback took the initiative to help her? How is it? Manager Lu, is my 1 million worth it? Yun Chujio asked smugly. It's worth it. It's simply worth it. Miss Fong Chao, I heard that someone once spent tens of millions of spirit stones trying to find someone to accommodate him for a few days, but it was unsuccessful. I didn't expect that you spent 1 million to extend it by 2 months. Moreover, you don't have to go personally next time. You're really amazing. Manager Lu silently added in his heart. How the fuck is it 1 million? You black-hearted person clearly only spent 800,000. That 200,000 is mine, it's mine. You are reading on MYBOXN0VEL.com. Manager Lu, I won't let your 200,000 go to waste. I'll give you some pointers now. Sometimes when you ask someone to do something, don't make things clear right away. Also, don't kowtow and give money right away. Although money is a good thing, sometimes it has to be combined with other things to be useful. Most importantly, you'd better let the other party take the initiative to offer help. This way, he will feel comfortable and will do his best. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Manager Lu nodded repeatedly when he heard that. He felt that the $200,000 was not wasted. Although this little ancestor was full of bad ideas, he had to admit that she was too proficient in the ways of the world. It was a journey of 8 days from the border between the eastern and western continents to Tiger City. Yun Chujio was not in a hurry to travel, so when she saw a forest below, she suggested to go for a few days of training. Chapter 2166 Psychedelic Forest. Upon hearing Yun Chujio's words, Manager Lu could not help but complain in his heart, Miss Fangcao, although your intentions are good, we only have 5 guards with us. Moreover, our spiritual power isn't particularly high. What if we run into danger? Let's just walk around the edge of the forest. We're not going in. It's fine. Well, just take it as a distraction, Yun Chujio said with a smile. She had already made contact with Enfong, and Enfong was not far away from her. It was not a problem for them to walk around the edge of the forest. Manager Lu knew that Yun Chujio had a good idea, so he did not dare to say anything more. He let the flying spirit tool land on the edge of the forest. Manager Lu, what's the name of this forest? Yun Chujio asked while looking at it curiously. Manager Lu took out the map and looked at it, his expression changed. Miss Fong Chao, this forest is a psychedelic forest. It said that there are many poisonous mushrooms in the depths of the forest that can make people hallucinate. Why don't we go somewhere else? Don't worry, I'm just walking around the edge. When Yun Chujio heard that there were poisonous mushrooms, she was overjoyed. The more poisonous the mushroom, the more delicious it was. No matter what, she had to pick some poisonous mushrooms to eat back home. Manager Lu and the others did not know what this guy was planning. They believed him and followed Yun Chujio into the psychedelic forest. The outer area of the psychedelic forest was no different from the forest in the western continent. There were only some yellow rank herbs on the ground occasionally, which proved that the spiritual energy here was very rich. Yun Chujio saw some wild fruits inside and didn't care whether they were poisonous or not, she just kept pulling them into her storage ring. Manager Lu clicked his tongue as he watched, thinking to himself that this little ancestor was really over the top, not even letting go of wild fruits. As they walked deeper, some demon beasts began to appear. However, perhaps because of the edge, the level of the demon beasts that appeared were not very high, and most of them were around level 27. As Yun Chujio was pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger, she was clearly at level 4 of the spiritual profound realm. Others looked like they were only at level 6 of the spiritual venerable realm, so when they saw a level 27 demonic beast. Manager Lu said fawningly, "Miss Fangcao, didn't you want to have a trial? It's most suitable to use this level 27 longhorned violent bull to practice." Yun Chujio curled her lips. Too weak. Why use a butcher's knife to kill a chicken? It'll only attack if I meet someone of a higher level. Manager Lu cursed in his heart. You're only at the 6th level of the spiritual venerable realm, what are you so arrogant for? You might not even be able to deal with someone at the 27th level. And you still dare to dream of dealing with someone even more powerful? Just as Manager Lu was thinking about it, he heard a few sneers. Some people really overestimate themselves. Someone at the 6th level of the spiritual venerable realm is still so picky about dealing with high-level demonic beasts. It's simply hilarious. That's right. Does she think that anyone can come to this psychedelic forest? One look and you can tell that she's a country bumpkin. She doesn't know anything. She's just here to court death. Along with the sneers, a group of people walked over from afar. There were men and women, and there were many guards following behind them. Yun Chujio saw at a glance that there was an ancient character embroidered on the corner of a red-clothed girl's clothes, Yi. Yun Chujio's eyes darkened. A member of the Yi family? It was really a narrow road for enemies. She did not know who the person was from the Yi family. Manager Lu was very shrewd. When he saw that the person was not to be trifled with, he immediately gave Yun Chujio a look to advise her not to cause trouble, or else she would get into trouble. Of course, Yun Chujio was not stupid enough to hit a rock with an egg. Not to mention the spiritual power of these young men, the guards behind them did not seem to have a lower spiritual power than Enfeng. They were probably at the spiritual void level. It would definitely not end well if they fought. Chapter 2167, You guys look a little alike. Yun Chujio's side remained silent. Those people mocked her a little, but seeing that it was meaningless, they decided to leave. At this moment, a young girl dressed in white said in surprise, "Bingyu, why does that country bumpkin look a little like you?" Previously, no one had really looked closely at Yun Chujio's appearance. When they heard the white-clothed girl say this, many people's gazes fell on Yun Chujio, especially the red-clothed girl. She was annoyed to discover that the country bumpkin opposite her did indeed look similar to her. The most hateful thing was that the country bumpkin was more beautiful than her. The red-robed girl felt that she could not hold back anymore. She glared at the white-robed girl. "Lu Jinluan, why are you comparing me to a trash? What are your intentions?" The white-robed girl. Lu Jinluan's face was filled with embarrassment. "I was just saying that. Besides, how can a trash like her be compared to you? Don't be angry. If you don't like her, just get someone to kill them all." Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes. She made it sound so natural. It seemed that this Lu Jinluan was not a good person. Moreover, her family background should be pretty good. She might even be a disciple of a first-class family. Before the red-dressed girl could speak, a man who looked somewhat similar to Lu Jinluan berated, "Jinluan, don't spout nonsense. Sister Bingyu, it's more important for us to look for the rainbow crystal mushroom. Let's hurry." That man was obviously the leader among these young people. Hence, even though Lu Jinluan and the red-dressed girl wanted to find trouble with Yun Chujio, they still followed that man and continued to walk inside. When he saw that Lu Jinluan and the rest had disappeared, Manager Lu wiped the sweat off his forehead. Even his back was drenched. He spoke with a sobbing tone, "Miss Fangcao, if my guess is correct, those people are from first-class families. They are not people we can afford to provoke. If you want to train, let's go somewhere else. Otherwise, if we meet them again, we might be doomed." Yun Chujio's eyes flashed. She knew that if they really fought, her current strength would be like an egg hitting a stone. In the end, Yun Chujiu decided to avoid Lu Jinluan and the others. After all, it was not too late for a gentleman to take revenge. She would wait and see in the future. Therefore, she asked Manager Lu, "If we go further, is there still such a large forest?" Manager Lu did not dare to lie, so he could only tell the truth. Although there are still a few forests, the area is very small. Yun Chujiu narrowed her eyes and thought for a while. "How about this, we go around to the west, so that we won't meet them." Manager Lu heard Yun Chujiu's words and felt that it was fine. After all, they were going in two different directions. They shouldn't meet those people again. Therefore, the group took a detour of more than 10 miles to the west of the psychedelic forest and continued to walk inside. At this moment, a 30-step iron-bone wild boar rushed out and pounced on Yun Chujiu while howling. The guards behind were about to help when Yun Chujiu shouted, "Don't worry about it. I'll deal with it." Yun Chujiu was already holding her anger in her heart. Seeing that this damn iron-bone wild boar didn't pounce on anyone, but pounced on her, she became even angrier. "Fuck, even a persimmon is easy to pick, and even a pig like you dares to bully me? Today, I'll make sure you never come back." Manager Lu and those guards had helpless expressions. This Miss Fong Chao was good in every way, but she was too proud. "You're only at the 6th level of the spiritual venerable realm, and this 30-level iron-bone wild boar is equivalent to the 9th level of the spiritual venerable realm. Can you do it?" Chapter 2168, Awesome 10,000-year-old fire marrow. Yun Chujiu nimbly dodged the iron-bone wild boar's attack and fired several bolts of lightning at the boar. As Yun Chujiu's spiritual power increased, the number of bolts of lightning she fired not only increased to 8, but each bolt of lightning was as thick as an adult's pinky finger. Whether it was Manager Lu or the 5 guards, it was the first time they saw Yun Chujiu use her spiritual power to attack. They were all dumbfounded. So this was the spiritual power attack of the Heavenly Thunder Spirit Root. It was really awesome. This was simply a miniature Heavenly Thunder. However, after they were shocked, they shook their heads. Although the spiritual power attack of the Heavenly Thunder Spirit Root was pretty awesome, as the spiritual power increased, it was better to use a spiritual beast to attack. They didn't know if Miss Fong Chao could materialize her spiritual power. Just as they were nodding and shaking their heads, a burnt smell suddenly came along with the screams of the iron-bone wild boar. They took a closer look and saw the huge body of the iron-bone wild boar fall to the ground. Black smoke rose from its body. It was obviously dead. Manager Lu and the 5 guards looked at each other. What exactly happened? How did the iron-bone wild boar die in the blink of an eye? They were dumbfounded, and Yun Chujiu was even more dumbfounded. Her back was facing Manager Lu and the other 3. She stared at her right hand. At the moment just now, there seemed to be a flame shooting out from her palm. Then, she realized that the iron-bone wild boar was emitting black smoke. Could it be the 10,000-year-old fire marrow? The flame on Yun Chujiu's right palm was no different from usual, as if everything was an illusion for Yun Chujiu. "Miss Fangcao, you are really amazing. You killed a level 30 iron-bone wild boar in less than 3 moves." Manager Lu came back to his senses and said flatteringly, he thought that Yun Chujiu used the power of lightning to kill the iron-bone wild boar, and the reason why the iron-bone wild boar was emitting smoke was naturally the result of lightning. Yun Chujiu couldn't explain further. She said with a smile, "Of course. I have a Heavenly Thunder Spirit Root, so I naturally have special abilities. Let's go. Let's continue to take a look inside." Manager Lu saw that Yun Chujiu was indeed capable, so he didn't stop her and continued to follow Yun Chujiu inside. Not long after, they met a level 32 sword-toothed double-tailed leopard. Yun Chujiu wanted to test the 10,000-year-old fire marrow, so before Manager Lu and the others could react, Yun Chuzhou rushed forward and fought with the saber-toothed double-tailed leopard. Manager Lu was anxious and angry. He thought to himself, this Miss Fong Chao was too easy to be proud of. Although she had easily killed the iron-bone wild boar just now, it was still a level 30 demonic beast after all, and this saber-toothed double-tailed leopard was level 32. That was equivalent to the second to third level of the Lingxian realm. Could she do it? Be careful. If Miss Fong Chao is no match for you, hurry up and save her. Manager Liu's words came to an abrupt end because he heard a few screams from the saber-toothed twin-tailed leopard. Then, he saw that the saber-toothed twin-tailed leopard had turned into a corpse that was emitting black smoke. Manager Liu and the 5 guards were so shocked that they could not speak. How was this possible? In the blink of an eye, the level 32 saber-toothed twin-tailed panther had died. They were shocked, and Yun Chuzhou was even more shocked. This 10,000-year-old fire marrow was too awesome, wasn't it? It was only in its infancy, but it was already so powerful. It could practically be compared to Xiao Hanio's Nirvana fire. Xiao Hanio was immediately unhappy. Master, what you said is wrong. The 10,000 years fire marrow only injured a level 32 demonic beast. Back then, my Nirvana fire killed a large group of high-level demonic beasts, and there was no lack of level 37 and above demonic beasts. Moreover, I am only a small phoenix. Chapter 2169 Fire was also unreliable. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. Your Nirvana fire is indeed powerful, but didn't you say that you would fall into hibernation after using it once? How could it be convenient to use this 10,000-year-old fire marrow? Xiao Hanio was poked in a sore spot by Yun Chuzhou. She rolled her eyes and did not say anything. Yun Chuzhou, this fellow, felt that she had opened the door to a new world. She did not expect to accidentally obtain such a good treasure. So what if she did not have a Qi-Ling? Didn't this little flame still help her kill demonic beasts? This was simply a good helper for killing people and stealing goods. Manager Lu only recovered after a long time. He didn't even know how to say flattery, because he couldn't think of any adjectives to express his shock. He felt that he must have encountered a fake 6th-level spiritual venerable. Which family's 6th-level spiritual venerable could kill a 32nd-level demonic beast in an instant? Even the guards at the 7th or 8th level of the spiritual profound realm couldn't do it. Yun Chuzhou didn't care what they were thinking. This guy was eager to find a new prey to test the power of the 10,000-year fire marrow. Therefore, when she saw a 33rd level Windblade golden-striped tiger rushing over, she almost rushed up excitedly. Manager Lu and the 5 guards had learned from the previous experience. They felt that Yun Chuzhou was a pervert and didn't need their help at all. Therefore, they just watched the show from the back, wanting to see how Yun Chuzhou killed the demon beast. Yun Chuzhou was in a tragic situation. That was because she struck dozens of lightning bolts, but the damn 10,000-year-old fire marrow did not come out. On the contrary, the Windblade golden-spotted tiger grew stronger as it fought, forcing Yun Chuzhou to only be able to parry and not be able to fight back. Manager Lu even said to the 5 guards, I think Miss Fong Chao wants to train a little longer this time. Otherwise, she would have killed the Windblade golden-spotted tiger long ago. Manager Lu is right. I think so too. Miss Fong Chao must be playing with it. When she's done playing with it, she will kill it. Yun Chuzhou almost vomited blood when she heard their discussion. Which eye of yours saw me playing with this damn Windblade golden-spotted tiger? If I continue playing with it, I won't be able to save my life, right? Seeing that the 10,000-year-old fire marrow was not reliable, Yun Chuzhou did not bother to hide it anymore. She released several piglets of spiritual power towards the Windblade golden-spotted tiger. Manager Lu and the others stumbled and almost fell to the ground. Oh God! Was this Miss Fong Chao playing around? Her spiritual beast was actually a piglet. This this was too incompatible with the heavenly thunder spiritual root, right? The wind blade golden spotted tiger clearly did not put the spiritual piglet in its eyes. It casually used the wind blade to hit the spiritual piglet. The price of underestimating the enemy was obviously heavy. Although Yun Chujio used an intermediate-level physical transformation technique, the perverse nature of the spiritual piglet was beyond the understanding of the wind blade golden spotted tiger. In addition to Yun Chujio's swift movement technique, an hour later, the wind blade golden spotted tiger was covered in injuries and died. Yun Chujio, this fellow, was so tired that she sat on the ground and panted heavily. She cursed in her heart, "Damn it, I really can't rely on others. Even fire is unreliable. I still have to work hard to cultivate." Although this damn 10,000-year-old fire marrow was powerful, it was too unreliable. They did not know when they would help or when they would play dead. It was best not to count on it in the future. Although Manager Lu and the other three were very curious about the little piglet of spiritual power, they did not dare to ask too much. They felt that what they had encountered today was simply unbelievable. This Miss Fong Chao was simply inhuman. Chapter 2170, Do you want to eat poisonous mushrooms that afternoon? Yun Chujio killed 2 more level 33 demon beasts. During dinner, Yun Chujio looked at Manager Lu and the other 6 people. She smiled and said, "I'm good at everything, but if someone tells others some of my secrets, they'll definitely be very unhappy. Manager Lu understands the consequences of my unhappiness, okay?" Manager Lu could not help but shiver. He immediately understood the meaning behind Yun Chujio's words. He immediately said, "Miss Fangcao, don't worry. I will keep my mouth shut about what happened in the psychedelic forest. I won't tell anyone. If I say anything, I will be struck by lightning and die a horrible death." The other 5 guards were not stupid. They immediately swore the same oath as Manager Lu. Yun Chujio said with a smile, "Sigh, I was just saying that. Look, you all took it seriously." The corners of Manager Lu and the 5 guards' eyes twitched violently. This was the guy who had said that he was taking advantage of them, right? Did they dare not take it seriously? What did you mean when you said that while holding a large kitchen knife? In the next few days, Yun Chujio spent her time at the edge of the psychedelic forest looking for demon beasts to train. Manager Lu and the 5 guards were lucky enough to witness the perverted little purple needle again. They were already numb to it. Miss Fong Chao was a pervert anyway, so it was normal for any perverted thing to happen to her. Really, it was normal. On the morning of the 6th day, Manager Lu said to Yun Chujio, "Miss Fong Chao, we have already stayed in the psychedelic forest for 5 days. It's time for us to leave." Yun Chujio nodded. Although she was drooling over the poisonous mushrooms in the center of the psychedelic forest, she realized that the level of the demonic beasts in the psychedelic forest was too high. There was no way for her to reach the center of the psychedelic forest, therefore, she didn't plan to take the risk and go there. She had to admit that this guy had learned his lesson from the incident in the fallen phoenix forest last time. No matter how good the things were, if the risk was too high, it was better not to take the risk. "Master, do you really want to eat those poisonous mushrooms?" Xiao Mogu, who always kept the mushrooms in the corner of the spirit beast bag, suddenly asked Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio was stunned. "Of course. I heard that the poisonous mushrooms taste very delicious. I want to make some stewed meat to eat." "That's easy. It'll help Master make some. You just wait here," Xiao Mogu said confidently. Yun Chujio was skeptical. Xiao Mogu was not lying, right? How could it make poisonous mushrooms for her? Manager Lu saw that Yun Chujio said to leave, but her legs did not move. He had to force himself to ask, "Miss Fangcao, should we go outside?" "No rush, I'm a little sleepy. Let me take a nap before we leave." Yun Chujio yawned and said. The corner of Manager Liu's eyes twitched violently. Little ancestor, even if you want to lie, can you please find a sincere excuse? It's only been 2 hours since you woke up, and you're already sleepy. Are you kidding me? Although Manager Liu was complaining in his heart, he did not dare to say much. He could only protect Yun Chujio in the middle with the 5 guards. He watched Yun Chujio sitting cross-legged on the ground with her eyes closed to rest. After a while, everyone smelled a charming fragrance. It was a fragrance that made people's souls tremble. Manager Liu and the 5 guards looked a little distracted. They stood up and planned to follow the fragrance. Yun Chujio quickly jumped up and took out a self-made gas mask from her storage ring and gave it to them. She shouted sternly, "Put it on quickly. This fragrance is poisonous." Chapter 2171 The little girl who picks mushrooms. Manager Liu and the 5 guards heard Yun Chujio's shout and suddenly woke up. They subconsciously took the gas mask that Yun Chujio handed over. Manager Liu and the 5 guards looked at each other with the gas mask in their hands. What was this strange thing used for? How did this thing work? Yun Chujio could only take out another gas mask to demonstrate. Manager Liu and the others then imitated Yun Chujio and put on the mask. Everyone couldn't help but feel that this thing was very magical. After putting it on, they actually couldn't smell the strange fragrance. Yun Chujio took out a lot of gas masks and handed them to them. This gas mask only has a half-minute effect. Remember to change it when you have the time. Manager Liu said worriedly, "Miss Fong Chao, I think this fragrance is a little strange. Let's hurry and leave." Before Yun Chujio could say anything, a guard cried out in surprise, "Oh my God! Oh my God! The mushroom has become a spirit! The mushroom has become a spirit!" Yun Chujio looked in the direction the guard pointed and saw a group of colorful mushrooms jumping towards them. Not only were the mushrooms different in color, but their shapes were also strange. However, one thing was for sure, these mushrooms were all poisonous mushrooms. "Miss Fong Chao, the mushrooms have turned into spirits. Let's run." Manager Liu felt his legs go soft. Although there were demonic plants in this world, only demonic plants that had reached a certain level could leave the place where they grew. These mushrooms had not reached such a high level yet, they had all run over on their own. There must be something fishy about this. Just as Manager Liu was trembling slightly, he saw the little ancestor's eyes crack into a smile. Not only did he not run out, but he even ran towards the poisonous mushrooms as if he had seen a spirit stone. "Miss! Come back! It's poisonous! Those are poisonous mushrooms!" Manager Liu even omitted the word fragrant grass. Just as Manager Liu and the 5 guards were about to go forward and drag Yun Chujio away, they saw Yun Chujio start to pick the mushrooms. The mushrooms seemed to be frozen by something and were obediently put into Yun Chujio's storage ring. This guy was so happy picking mushrooms that he even hummed a song, a little girl with a big bamboo basket on her back. Manager Liu and the 5 guards were dumbfounded. Oh God, what on earth happened? Could it be that these mushrooms were sent to the little ancestor for him to pick? This is too unbelievable. Yun Chujio still had some conscience. She felt that they were almost done picking, so she used her spiritual sense to say to Xiao Mogu, "I think it's enough. You let the rest of the mushrooms wander back." Yun Chujio was not stupid. Of course, she would not think that these poisonous mushrooms came by themselves. It was probably Xiao Mogu who hooked them up. Xiao Mogu and Guai Chao were a perfect match. One could hook up with demon beasts and the other could hook up with mushrooms. Xiao Mogu's mycelium swayed, and the poisonous mushrooms all turned around and hopped back. Manager Liu was about to talk to Yun Chujio when he heard a scream from afar. It seemed to be the group of people he met a few days ago. Manager Liu could not help but be shocked. "Miss Fong Chao, it seems to be those people we met before. Let's leave quickly. Otherwise, we might get into trouble. Yun Chujio also felt that it was better to avoid trouble. After all, the poisonous mushrooms had already been obtained, so there was no need to meet them, so she nodded. What you said makes sense. Let's go, let's leave this place quickly. Chapter 2172, Hand over the 7-colored crystal mushroom. Manager Lu heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Yun Chujio agree so readily. Everyone quickly walked out of the psychedelic forest. It would take them at least 4 hours to walk out of the psychedelic forest from their current position. They did not dare to delay, afraid that there would be other branches. However, what they were afraid of came true. After walking out for about 2 hours, they heard someone shouting from behind, "Stop! Stop right now, or I'll kill you." "Miss Fong Chao, what should we do?" Manager Lu grinned. It was over, it was over. They had finally gotten into trouble. Why did those people tell them to stop? Just stop and see what they say. Yun Chujio wanted to run, but regardless of the number or strength, the difference between the two sides was too big, so she could not run. The people behind quickly caught up. It was indeed Lu Jinluan and the others, but they were all in a sorry state. The guards were still missing a few people, so they were probably lost. Lu Jinluan looked at Yun Chujio and the others with disdain. TSK, I didn't expect you guys to still be alive. You're so weak, but you weren't eaten by the demon beasts. You really got lucky. Let me ask you, those mushrooms from before rushed towards your direction like crazy. Did you guys see the rainbow crystal mushroom? Yun Chujio's lowered eyes were filled with coldness. Did she have a face that was easy to bully? All of them wanted to step on her. Lu family. Very good, Xiao He has another family in his account. Let's wait and see. Although this guy wanted to point at Lu Jinluan's nose and scold her in his heart, he didn't show it on his face at all. He said indifferently, "What is the rainbow crystal mushroom?" "We only saw a group of poisonous mushrooms. Because things were too strange, we didn't dare to stay any longer and ran out desperately." Lu Jinluan frowned. "Stop pretending. We clearly saw the rainbow crystal mushroom run away with a group of poisonous mushrooms. Why did it disappear when we arrived?" Yun Chujio asked in confusion, "What does the rainbow crystal mushroom look like?" The rainbow crystal mushroom is transparent and glows with 7 colors. However, it is good at disguising itself. It can disguise itself as other mushrooms. However, if you look closely, you will find a red dot on its stalk. It's really a country bumpkin. It doesn't know anything. Lu Jinluan said in disdain. Yun Chujio's heart skipped a beat. She was sure that the rainbow crystal mushroom was already in her storage ring. Because when she picked the mushroom, she was still puzzled. This mushroom's entire body was blue. Why was there a red dot on the stalk? Of course, unless she was stupid, she wouldn't tell Lu Jinluan that she had picked the rainbow crystal mushroom. Even if she handed over the rainbow crystal mushroom now, she might still be silenced. Therefore, she shook her head firmly. "Miss, we were afraid of being poisoned just now. How would we have time to see which mushroom has a red dot on its stalk? We really didn't see that rainbow crystal mushroom." Lu Jinluan turned her head and said to the red-clothed girl, "Bingyu, I told you. These country bumpkins don't recognize the rainbow crystal mushroom at all. Moreover, they are all as timid as mice and would have been scared silly if they saw such a strange scene. It's impossible for the rainbow crystal mushroom to be in their hands." Hearing Lu Jinluan's words, Yun Chujio decided to change the Lu family on Xiao Hei's account from death to life imprisonment. The girl in red, Yi Bingyu, frowned and looked at Yun Chujio coldly. "Those mushrooms are poisonous mushrooms. Why aren't you poisoned?" Chapter 2173, Body Search. Yun Chujio knew that if she wasn't careful today, she might not be able to escape. Thus, she took out a gas mask from her storage ring. We relied on this to survive for a while before we ran out. Lu Jinluan's brother curiously took the gas mask from Yun Chujia's hand and studied it for a while. He couldn't help but click his tongue in wonder. Although the principle of this little thing is very simple, its design is very clever. It can last for a while without being poisoned. Lu Jinluan curiously took it over and looked at it. She curled her lips. Only country bumpkins like them know how to use this thing. We only need to take the 100 herbs antidote pill to last for 2 hours. We don't need these broken things at all. Yun Chujio said indifferently, everyone, since you've asked all the questions, can we leave now? Lu Jinluan waved her hand impatiently. Let's go. Let's go. I reckon that you don't have the ability to pick the 7-colored crystal mushroom. Yun Chujio turned around and was about to leave when Yi Bingyu suddenly said coldly, capture them all and search them. When the guards heard Yi Bingyi's words, they immediately leaped forward and surrounded Yun Chujio and the other 3 people in the middle. They were about to search them. Wait. Miss Yi, since you have no evidence to prove that we took the rainbow crystal mushroom, why are you searching us? Moreover, this psychedelic forest is not your Yi family's territory. What right do you have to search us? Yun Chujia's face was very calm, however, the anger in her heart suddenly rose. It seemed that the Yi family was not a good thing. Yi Bingyu could not help but sneer. No wonder Jinluan said that you are a country bumpkin. In the immortal Yuan continent, strength is respected. How could there be so much logic? Not to mention that we are only searching you, even if we kill you, you will have to suffer. Yun Chujio laughed lightly and turned to look at Lu Jinluan's brother. This young master, what do you say? Lu Jinluan's brother frowned slightly and said to Yi Bingyu, Bingyu, they don't seem to be lying. It's more important to look for the rainbow crystal mushroom. Don't cause trouble. Yi Bingyu said unhappily, Brother Pin Yan, you know the importance of the rainbow crystal mushroom, so you'd rather kill 1,000 than let one go. Besides, they're just a few good-for-nothings. What trouble can there be? If you're afraid of being implicated, your Lu family's guards shouldn't do anything. Our Yi family's guards can do it themselves. Lu Pinyin obviously had a good impression of Yi Bingyu. Hearing Yi Bingyi's words, he couldn't help but feel embarrassed. He turned to Yun Chujio and said, Miss, the 7-colored crystal mushroom is very important to us. As long as you hand it over obediently or let us search you, I promise I won't kill you. Manager Lu was drenched in cold sweat. He lowered his voice and said to Yun Chujio, Miss, we didn't take the 7-colored crystal mushroom anyway. Just let them search you. You're the miss, so it's okay to let the miss search you. Yun Chujio's eyes turned cold. Manager Lu, it seems that you haven't learned my essence. There are some things that you can lower your head and compromise, but there are some things that are related to dignity. Even if you know that you're no match for them, you can't compromise. I will not let them search you. If you surrender today, then don't follow me anymore. Manager Lu and the 5 guards looked at each other. In fact, they were not Yun Chujio's people now. They were just lent to her by the 5 guards. They were conflicted. Chapter 2174, Danger in War. Manager Lu and the others knew the hidden meaning behind Yun Chujio's words. If they listened to Yun Chujio and luckily escaped this time, then Yun Chujio would definitely think of a way to recruit them as her subordinates in the future. If they submitted to the other party, then in the future, the bridge would return to the road. Although Yun Chujio did not say that she would punish them, she would not recruit them again. After Lu Jinluan heard Yun Chujio's words, she laughed hysterically. TSK, you country bumpkin, what dignity do you think you have? You really make me laugh. Do you really want to listen to her nonsense? You don't even have your life, yet you still want to be shameless. The few of you, quickly surrender and I will make the decision to let you go. If this country bumpkin resists, then only death awaits him. After hearing Lu Jinluan's words, the guards that they had brought along also let out mocking laughter. Clearly, they felt that Yun Chujia's words were not only overestimating her own abilities, but were also extremely laughable. Manager Lu and the 5 guards were originally still wavering. However, they were provoked by these mocking laughter. At the very most, they would just die. They would fight it out. Of course, their subconscious still felt that Yun Chujio, this little ancestor, had a lot of bad intentions. She might be able to escape unscathed. If that was the case, with this little ancestor's petty temper, she would definitely give them a hard time. She might even suffer a fate worse than death. Since that was the case, they might as well fight it out now. At least she would still be a man. "Miss, we will listen to you." Manager Lu and the 5 guards stood straight and protected Yun Chujio in the middle. Yun Chujio was a little surprised. She felt that these people were not her subordinates. Even if they ran away, it would not be a big deal. She did not expect them to be so loyal. Since that was the case, she would naturally not mistreat them in the future. If this guy knew that Manager Lu and the others were afraid that she would take revenge later, he probably would not think that way. When Lu Jinluan and the others heard Manager Liu's words, they were quite surprised. They didn't expect these people to be so tough. Before Lu Jinluan said anything, Yi Bingyu said viciously, "Kill them all." Lu Pinyin glanced at Yi Bingyu. Although he didn't agree with her, he didn't stop her. There was no need to offend her because of a few strangers. Yi Bingyu stared at Yun Chujio coldly. She didn't know why, but she didn't like this bitch, and she felt uneasy. Only by killing her could she get rid of this uneasiness. Yun Chujio and the others had nothing to say now. They could only fight to the death. Killing one was enough, killing 2 was enough to earn 1. Manager Lu was at the 9th level of the spiritual venerable realm, and the 5 guard spiritual power was around the 8th level of the spiritual profound realm. The guards on the other side all had spiritual power above the spiritual void realm, and there were more than 20 people on the other side. Fortunately, the guards obviously felt that Yun Chujio and the others were too weak, so only 10 or so people came to fight. The others only surrounded them and did not participate in the battle. Even so, Manager Lu and the others were very uncertain. If the little ancestor did not have any trump cards, they would be finished in less than 15 minutes. A dark light flashed in Yun Chujio's eyes. The only way now was to take risks. Yun Chujio asked Manager Lu and the others to protect her in the middle. She used her sleeve to cover the voice transmission talisman and gave Enfeng a few instructions. Enfeng did not appear because he had the same plan as Yun Chujio. After receiving Yun Chujio's voice transmission talisman, he quietly approached Yi Bingyu and the others. Chapter 2175, Swear it. While Yi Bingyu was staring at the battlefield, she suddenly staggered. At this moment, an ice-cold dagger was placed on her neck. "Don't move." Lu Jinluan and the others were all focused on the battlefield. By the time they realized that Yi Bingyu was being restrained, it was already too late. Lu Pinyin could not help but be shocked. "You, who are you? Let Sister Bingyu go quickly. Back off. If you don't back off, I'll kill her." Enfeng said coldly. With a slight force of his hand, Yi Bingyi's neck was bleeding. Lu Pinyin and the others didn't dare to act rashly. They quickly said, "We can discuss this. Don't be rash. Don't be rash." Enfeng smiled coldly. "If you want me to be rash, then let them go. Also, back off. Otherwise, I'll let her go to hell with us." Lu Pinyin didn't dare to say no. He quickly ordered the guards surrounding Yun Chujio to retreat, then, he said, "Young master, let's talk things out. The hostage in your hand is the eldest daughter of the first-class Yi family. If you kill her, you won't be able to recover." Enfeng snorted. "Let's talk about it in the future. Now, all of you listen to me. Stay where you are and don't move. Once we leave the psychedelic forest, we will naturally let her go. Although Lu Pinyin wanted to tear Feng into pieces, Yi Bingyu was in Feng's hands, so he could only swallow his anger and say, "All right, we will stay where we are. If you dare to go back on your words, you and your family will die." Feng gave Yun Chuzhou a look and was about to leave. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips, "We can't leave like this. There is an additional condition. All of you, swear immediately that you can't mention what happened today to anyone. Moreover, you can't trace our identities. Otherwise, you'll be struck to death by lightning. If you don't say it, it'll draw a little bastard on this pretty little face." As Yun Chuzhou spoke, she took out the omnipotent kitchen knife and gestured a few times on Yi Bingjia's face. Yi Bingjia's eyes were filled with viciousness. She had never suffered such a huge loss since she was young. "Bitch, I will remember you. I will destroy your family." Lu Pinyin and the others had no choice but to swear unwillingly. Yun Chuzhou then used the kitchen knife to pat Yi Bingjia's face twice. "It's your turn. Do you choose to swear or disfigure?" Yi Bingyu only stared at Yun Chuzhou viciously. She felt that Yun Chuzhou did not dare to really make a move. Obviously, she had misjudged Yun Chuzhou's courage. Yun Chuzhou used the kitchen knife to lightly cut Yi Bingjia's face, and a hideous wound appeared on her face. Yi Bingyu cried out in pain. Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, "How is it? Do you swear or not?" Yi Bingyu cared about her appearance the most. She gritted her teeth and swore, "Good. Very good. Bitch, I will remember you. I will not investigate your background, but if you bump into me in the future, I will make your life worse than death." Yun Chuzhou smiled brightly, "Little bitch, don't worry. We will meet soon. When the time comes, we will have our revenge. Let's see if you have the ability." Yi Bingyu did not understand what Yun Chuzhou meant. They would meet soon. Humph. She must be lying. She estimated that she would hide when she went back. However, she would not be able to hide forever. She did not believe that they would not meet again in the future. Yun Chuzhou saw that Yi Bingyu had sworn an oath, so she asked Feng to escort Yi Bingyu in the middle. She, Manager Lu, and the others protected her from the front and back, and quickly retreated to the periphery of the psychedelic forest. Lu Pinyin and the others naturally wouldn't really stay still, but they didn't dare to get too close and follow from afar. 2 hours later, Yun Chuzhou and the others finally left the psychedelic forest. "Now, can you let me go?" Yi Bingyu was afraid that there would be a scar on her face, so she couldn't wait to apply the medicine. Yun Chuzhou sneered. Of course, she wouldn't let her go just like that, because if she let her go now, these people would catch up with them even if they got on the flying spirit tool. Yun Chuzhou tapped on Yi Bingjia's body a few times. Yi Bingyu found that not only could she not move her body, but she couldn't even speak. Her eyes were full of fear. Yun Chuzhou took off Yi Bingjia's storage ring. "Take this storage ring as an apology to me." Yi Bingyu was so angry that she wanted to die. However, she couldn't say a word. She could only watch as Yun Chuzhou kept the storage ring. Yun Chuzhou pulled her neck and shouted to Lu Pinyin and the others in the distance, "I've already used my secret technique on this little bitch. If you move her within 6 hours, she will become a living dead person. If you don't believe me, you can try. However, don't worry. She will naturally return to normal after 6 hours." After Yun Chuzhou finished speaking, she summoned her flying spirit tool, and everyone boarded the flying spirit tool and left. When Lu Pinyin and the others saw that Yun Chuzhou and the others had left, they quickly rushed over. They saw Yi Bingyu lying on the ground with a ferocious bloody scar on her face. She didn't move at all, as if she was dead. Lu Pinyin saw that Yi Bingjia's eyes were still moving, so he tried his nose again. When he saw that she was still alive, he was slightly relieved. However, when he thought of what Yun Chujio said before she left, he really didn't dare to move Yi Bingyu. If it really was a secret technique, then it would be terrible. Yi Bingyi's eyes were red. She hated Yun Chujio to death in her heart. As a result, she was also very dissatisfied with the Lu Shi siblings. They were a pair of trash. It was fine if they couldn't save her, but now that they were letting her lie on the ground, they should apply medicine to her wound first. What if they left a scar? Just as Yi Bingyu was thinking about it, she felt a pain in her spiritual sense. Apparently, the spiritual sense imprint on her storage ring had been wiped away. She was so angry that she wanted to vomit blood, but she couldn't move at all. After 2 hours, Lu Jinluan finally remembered about applying the medicine. She hurriedly took out the flawless muscle regeneration pill and applied it on Yi Bingyi's wound. After another 4 hours, Yi Bingyu finally returned to normal and stood up from the ground. "Bingyu, are you okay? You really scared me to death," Lu Jinluan said with a face full of fear. She didn't expect that a country bumpkin would be so evil. She almost capsized in the gutter. Yi Bingyi's expression was gloomy and cold. She didn't say anything but took out the mirror. When she saw the hideous wound on her face, she was so angry that she gnashed her teeth. "Bitch! I must kill her. Not only do I want to kill her, I also want to kill all the people in her family." Lu Jinluan was shocked by Yi Bingyi's ferocious expression. She carefully said, "Bingyu, although that stinky girl deserves to die, we have already made a poison oath. We can't tell others and can't trace their origins. How can we take revenge?" Yi Bingyi's face was gloomy. Ordinary people wouldn't come to the psychedelic forest to train, unless they happened to pass by this place. I don't think those people's spiritual power is very high, especially that country bumpkin. Maybe he went to the border of the 2 continents to apply for a temporary pass. From the looks of it, they must be from a third-class family. 2 months later, we'll send people to guard near the pass. We'll definitely be able to stop them. "Bingyu, you're too smart. What you said makes sense. Their spiritual power is so low, so they must be from a third-class family. In 2 months, whether they want to renew their pass or return to the Western continent, they will definitely go to the border between the Eastern and Western continents. At that time, well, just wait for them," Lu Jinluan said with a fawning expression. Lu Pinyin also echoed a few words from the side. Although the Lu family was also a first-class family, it was still inferior to the Yi family. Therefore, the Lu siblings still lacked some confidence in front of Yi Bingyu. Hearing the flattery of the Lu siblings, Yi Bingyi's expression became a little better. To apply for the pass, she had to go there personally. At that time, she would definitely be able to tear that slut into pieces. On the other side, Yun Chujio, who was hated by them, was stroking her chin on the flying spirit tool, trying to think of a countermeasure. Of course, Yun Chujio could think of everything that Yi Bingyu could think of. This fellow felt that the 1 million upper-grade spirit stones were really worth it. Otherwise, 2 months later, those people might have set up an ambush at the border between the eastern and western continents. Yun Chujio called Manager Lu and the other 6 people in front of her. She sized them up and said, "In order to prevent you from being recognized, from today onwards, those who don't have beards will start to grow beards. Those who have beards, shave them off. Manager Lu, you should lose weight." Manager Lu wanted to cry, but he had no tears. However, compared to his life, losing weight and shaving his beards was nothing. After all, he often had to go out to discuss business, so the risk of being exposed was greater. "Miss Feng Chao, then, what about you?" Manager Lu asked with courage. "Me? I'm not afraid of being exposed. Moreover, I will take the initiative to find that little bitch to communicate with her, but not now." Yun Chujio curled her lips and said, the Yi family would go sooner or later. Moreover, even if they did not offend Yi Bingyu, the Yi family had already sent people to kill her. Manager Lu did not dare to ask any more questions. He felt that everyone had been deceived by Miss Fong Chao. She must have hidden many things from the Mo family. For example, the secret guard that suddenly appeared could not see through his cultivation. At the very least, he must have possessed spiritual energy of the spiritual void realm. This secret guard could not have been left behind by Mo Xiaoting, because Mo Xiaoting could not possibly have such an expert by his side. So, here came the problem. How could a little girl from a low-level continent have a bodyguard with high spiritual power? She definitely had someone backing her up. When we get back, don't say that we went to the psychedelic forest for a training session. Just say that I took you on a trip. Manager Lu, you have traveled a lot. Go and make up a story. We will discuss it together, Yun Chuzhou instructed. Manager Lu agreed without hesitation. Very quickly, he made up a story and everyone unified their stories. Everyone was afraid that Yi Bingyu and the others would catch up, so they drove their flying spirit tools to the fastest speed. They had originally traveled for 4 days, but in 3 days, they had arrived at Hidden Tiger City. The next day, Yun Chuzhou briefly told the Great Elder about the situation on the road. When the Great Elder heard that Yun Chuzhou had actually obtained a temporary pass for 4 months, he was also quite shocked. He thought to himself, this little girl is practically turning into a spirit. In the next few days, besides learning alchemy from the Great Elder, Yun Chuzhou was also thinking about the matters of the Yi family. Originally, she had planned to slowly take control of the Mo family and then use this as capital to enter the Yi family and find out the truth behind her mother's expulsion. However, her plan did not change quickly. Now, not only did the Yi family send people to kill her, but they had also offended Yi Bingyu. According to Yi Bingyi's personality, she would definitely not let this matter rest. What should she do? Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. The most brutal method was naturally to seek help from Di Baiming and have Di Baiming kill all the members of the Yi family. This way, he wouldn't have to worry about the Yi family's assassination and revenge. However, Yun Chuzhou felt that this method wouldn't work. Firstly, Di Baiming himself was in great danger. If he were to divert his attention to deal with the Yi family, it might bring him danger. Secondly, Di Baiming's enemies were obviously very powerful. If Di Baiming were to destroy the Yi family, the commotion wouldn't be small. It would definitely attract the attention of the other party. At that time, they would probably follow the clues and trace it back to Yun Chuzhou. There would be endless trouble in the future. Thirdly, the people of the Yi family might not be her mother's enemies. If the incident back then was caused by only a few people, then if the Yi family was exterminated, her mother would definitely blame her in the afterlife. Fourthly, the Yi family was a first-class family. They definitely had their own strengths. Who knows, they might even have some hidden power. Who knows, they might even be bitten by a snake instead of being killed. Moreover, there was a complicated relationship between large families. If the Yi family asked for help from other large families, Di Baiming might not have the confidence to win. Hence, the idea of letting Di Baiming exterminate the Yi family was not feasible. The Mo family could not be counted on. Right now, the Great Elder did not know that she had offended the Yi family and was being hunted down by the Yi family. If he knew, the Great Elder would definitely hand her over to the Yi family. The Chaos Origins sect and the Killing Origins sect were famous enough, but distant water could not quench the thirst of the near future. That was a super sect. Even if Yun Chuzhou tried to find a way to get to the location of those two sects, she might not even be able to enter the mountain gate. After all, even a first-class family like the Yi family was nothing in front of such a large ancient sect. Although she had the identity rings of Patriarch Yuan Tian and the Han Yuan old group, what use was that? If she did not have the strength, it would be courting death if she took it out. This was also not possible, that was also not possible. There was only one way left, and that was to enter an advanced academy or a first-class sect. This way, at least within the academy and sect, the Yi family would be more restrained. However, she didn't know if it was the season to recruit students and disciples. Yun Chuzhou pondered for a while and then came to look for Mo Fongbing. Sister Fongbing, the Zhu family's matter has temporarily come to an end. It's time for us to get down to business. I'm a person with limited information. I wonder if there are any advanced academies or first-class sects that recruit students or disciples recently. Mo Fongbing took out a few pieces of paper and handed them to Yun Chuzhou. I've already sent people to collect them. Take a look. Yun Chuzhou took the few pieces of paper that Mo Fongbing handed over. She couldn't help but look at Mo Fongbing in a new light. This Mo Fongbing was really not bad. She didn't even need to be reminded to make preparations. After Yun Chuzhou finished reading the contents of the paper, her heart was filled with joy. She didn't expect that there were actually schools and sects that were recruiting students. It was really timely. Sister Fongbing, there are more than 10 schools and sects listed here. What do you think about this? Which one do you plan to go to? Yun Chuzhou asked Mo Fongbing with a smile. Mo Fongbing had obviously studied it many times, she said with some difficulty, although there are more than 10 schools listed here, some of them are too far away from us. Some of them are not suitable for women, and some of them don't have a good reputation. After the selection, there are only 4 schools left. The Wa Stone Academy, the Heaven Punisher Academy, the Heartless Sword Sect, and the Vast Sea Sect. Sister Fongbing, what are the advantages and disadvantages of each of these 4 schools? Which school do you prefer? Yun Chuzhou picked up a spirit fruit and began to eat it. Both the Nuwa Stone Academy and the Heaven Punisher Academy are top-tier academies in the Immortal Yuan continent. The instructors and elders of the first-tier sects have the same level of spiritual power. It is said that the Nuwa Stone Academy got its name from the Nuwa Stone, while the Heaven Punisher Academy got its name from the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe. Wait, Sister Fongbing, you said that the Heaven Punisher Academy got its name from the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe. Could it be that the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe is in the Heaven Punisher Academy? Yun Chuzhou was puzzled. Back then in the ancient sword tomb, the 4 remnant soul overlords said that the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe had appeared in the ancient sword tomb before disappearing. Why would it appear in the Immortal Yuan continent again? This, I'm not too sure either. But that's how the Heaven Punisher Academy got its name. Sister Fongbing, continue. Just pretend that I didn't ask anything. Yun Chuzhou said with a mischievous smile. Mo Fongbing glared at her, then, she continued, although the Wa Stone Academy and the Xingtian Academy are on par in strength, the Wa Stone Academy prefers to recruit disciples from large families while the Xingtian Academy mostly recruits children from small families and commoners. Yun Chuzhou nodded. It turned out that one was a noble school while the other was a commoner school. She didn't have any prejudice against any of them. Their existence was reasonable, but their level of consumption was different. What about Heartless Sword Sect and Vast Sea Sect? Yun Chuzhou thought to herself. The names of these 2 sects were quite high and mighty, but she did not know how strong they were. Heartless Sword Sect and Vast Sea Sect are both first-class sections. Although they can't be compared to super sects like the Primordial Chaos Sect and the Murderous Origin Sect, they are still considered quite good sects in the Immortal Yuan continent. As the name implies, the Heartless Sword Sect is famous for its sword. Although as the level of spiritual power increases, cultivators rely more on spiritual beasts, the Heartless Sword Sect believes that the power of using immortal swords is greater, so the sect pays more attention to sword control techniques. The Vast Sea Sect is the same as its name. The Vast Sea Sect accepts all rivers, and there are a few mountains within the sect that each have their own emphasis. I dabble in alchemy, beret formations, talismans, and other aspects. Mo Fongbing spoke with assurance. It was obvious that she had done a lot of homework in advance. She was secretly competing with Yun Chuzhou in her heart, wanting to take back a city. How would Yun Chuzhou know of Mo Fongbing's awkward thoughts? She rubbed her chin and thought for a moment. She definitely could not go to the Heartless Sword sect. What she wanted to learn was talismans and alchemy. Going to the Heartless Sword sect would be useless. The remaining three sounded good. Which one should she go to? Sister Fongbing, when are the recruitment times for these 4 places? Are the 4 places far apart? Mo Fongbing burst into laughter. Not only are the Wustone Academy and Xingtian Academy in Tianluo City, but they are also close to each other. The 2 academies have been fighting for tens of thousands of years, and the recruitment time is the same every time. In a month's time, they will start to recruit students. The Vast Sea sect and the Heartless Sword sect are thousands of miles away from Tianluo City. It's only a few hours' journey. It's not far, but it's in the opposite direction. The Vast Sea sect and the Heartless Sword sect's enrollment time is about a month later than that of the Wustone Academy and Xingtian Academy. Have you thought about which one you want to apply for? Yun Chuzhou said with a smile, I don't plan to go to the Heartless Sword sect because I plan to learn alchemy. As for the Vast Sea sect, although it's not bad, with our aptitude, we'll probably be outer sect disciples if we get in, and we might even be odd job workers. If that's the case, the time for cultivation is too short, and it's not worth it. How about this, well, walk around the vicinity of the Wustone Academy and Xingtian Academy, and then choose a suitable candidate to apply for the test. It'll naturally be best if we can pass the test. Even if we can't, we can still participate in the Vast Sea sect's entrance test. This is called being prepared for anything. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Mo Fongbing felt that what Yun Chuzhou said made sense. She nodded. Alright, then we'll do as you say. It's just that our thoughts are pretty good. Will great-grandfather agree to it? Moreover, you're not a resident of the Eastern continent yet. The first condition to apply for the exam is that you need to be a resident of the Eastern continent. That's not a problem. I'll take care of it. Just wait for me to apply for the exam. It would be great if you could collect the test contents of the Wustone Academy, Xingtian Academy, and the Vast Sea sect, Yun Chuzhou said nonchalantly after taking a few bites of the spirit fruit. Mo Fongbing was skeptical and urged, you have to hurry up. There's only a month left, and the journey will be delayed for a few days. In addition, we have to gather information in advance. There's not much time left. Don't worry. I'll settle it soon. I'll go see the Great Elder now. Yun Chuzhou took out a handkerchief to wipe her mouth and left Mo Fongbing's courtyard. When Yun Chuzhou saw the Great Elder, she did not hide anything. She said directly, Great Elder, I heard that the Wustone Academy and Xingtian Academy will be recruiting students in a month's time. This is a good opportunity. It can't be missed, and it won't come again. I want to apply. The Grand Elder was mentally prepared for this. He nodded. You can apply. I can also help you become a resident of the Eastern continent. But this time, I can only take care of you. If you can succeed in the exam, I will bring the other people from Guangshunzi into my family. Yun Chuzhou thought to herself that she couldn't be bothered with those people, but on the surface, she said confidently, Grand Elder, don't worry. I will do my best. Also, let Sister Fongbing go with me. The two of us can take care of each other. Besides, Sister Fongbing has a good aptitude. She will definitely pass the exam. The Great Elder naturally would not stop her. If Mo Fongbing could pass the exam, it would naturally be a great blessing. However, it was not that the younger generation of the Mo family had never tried it before. Every time, they returned in defeat. As time passed, they did not have much confidence to apply for the exam. In the evening, Yun Chujiu left the Great Elder's courtyard. First, she went to Mo Fangbing's courtyard to inform her of the news. Then, she returned to the residence of the fifth house. As the sky gradually turned dark, Yun Chujiu felt a little drowsy. At this moment, the sound transmission talisman began to vibrate. Yun Chujiu thought that it was a sound transmission talisman sent by Di Biming. In the end, she found out that it was actually a sound transmission talisman sent by Shui Wuji. She could not help but feel surprised and happy. After sending her divine sense into it, Shui Wuji's voice came from inside. Little sister Jiu. Big brother came to the immortal Yuan continent to look for you. Where are you now? Yun Chujiu was happy, but she could not help but feel a little discouraged. The people who had just ascended from the Tian Yuan continent would be sent to the western continent, and she was still in the eastern continent, so she still could not meet them. Big brother Wuji, I am in the eastern continent's Fu Hu city. Are you in the western continent? Don't be anxious. When you have cultivated to the spirit void realm or when I enter an advanced academy, I will think of a way to get you to the eastern continent. After a while, the sound transmission talisman began to vibrate. Shui Wuji's smug voice came from inside. Little ninth sister, you don't know this. I'm such a talented person who ascended, so naturally, I'm different from the others. We've been directly teleported to the East continent this time, so naturally, we're the proper residents of the East continent. You. Who else is there besides you? Of course it's your beauty, Jin Ji. Well, go to Fu Hu city to look for you now. It'll probably take about 10 days. Yun Chujiu was so happy that she was going crazy. Brother Wu Ji, how about this? Let's meet up in Tian Luo City. I'm going to apply for the WA Stone Academy and Xingtian Academy. We can apply together. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Naturally, Shui Wuji had no objections. The two of them agreed to meet at Tian Luo City. Yun Chujiu was so happy that she did not sleep the entire night. This fellow had always been heartless. From this, it could be seen how important Shui Wuji and Jin Ji were to her. 8 days later, the Great Elder called Yun Chujiu into the study and handed her a jade slip. Yun Chujiu opened it and saw that some of her basic information was marked on it. At the top of the slip were a few big words, residence permit for the eastern continent of the immortal Yuan continent. It was originally very complicated to apply for a residence permit. It would take at least a month, but since the Great Elder was willing to spend money, the speed was much faster. Yun Chujiu naturally thanked him profusely. She swore an oath and patted her chest to guarantee that she would definitely pass the examination. The Great Elder also had high hopes for her. After all, his life depended on Yun Chujiu. After Yun Chujiu left, the Great Elder called Mo Fangbing to the study room. Fangbing, you have always been a sensible child, and you have a clear mind. This time, you and Mo Fangbing will go to the exam together. If you can't get in, then don't say anything. If you get in, you have to pay extra attention to Mo Fangbing's every move in the future. If there's anything unusual, report to me immediately, the Great Elder said in a deep voice. Mo Fangbing was not surprised by this. She took the voice transmission talisman that the Great Elder passed to her and nodded obediently in agreement. 3 days later, Yun Chujiu and Mo Fangbing quietly left Fu Hu City with 6 guards. When the people of the Mo family received the news, Yun Chujiu and Mo Fangbing had already left a long time ago. Everyone felt that the Great Elder was most likely muddle-headed due to his old age. He had actually taken Mo Fangbing into his own family and even placed her under the name of the Great House. Didn't that smelly girl only know a little bit of alchemy? What was so great about it? Moreover, the WA Stone Academy and Xingtian Academy were the top academies in the Eastern continent. It wasn't like the Mo family hadn't taken the test before. When had they ever succeeded? Only youths with exceptionally good looks could be admitted into such a top academy. If that trash Mo Fongbing were to go, she would simply be bringing shame upon herself. Although Mo Fongbing was much stronger than Mo Fongbing, she could still be compared to an average person. However, compared to those heaven's favorites, the gap was still very big. She would definitely return in defeat. Why would she bring herself to suffer? Mo Fangjiao was so angry that she stomped her feet. Damn Mo Fongbing! To think that she still treated her as a good sister. She actually didn't tell her about such a big matter. When she returned from her defeat, she would definitely settle the score with her. Yun Chujiu and Mo Fongbing naturally did not know the reaction of the Mo family members. At this moment, the two of them were already flying high up in the sky, like a bird flying in the sky. Yun Chujiu leaned on the recliner and leisurely said to Mo Fongbing, "Sister Fongbing, did the great elder ask you to spy on me?" Mo Fongbing was originally reading a book, but when she heard Yun Chujiu's words, the book fell to the ground with a bang. She thought to herself, this fellow is simply not human. There is nothing that can be hidden from her. Sister Fongbing, judging from your reaction, I guess I guessed correctly. You don't have to be nervous. I'm just asking. However, there's a good saying that you don't accept the orders of the emperor when you're outside. Therefore, you should choose what you should say and what you shouldn't say. After all, I'm also a member of the Mo family. If the Mo family falls, it'll also be implicated, therefore, I will not do anything bad to the Mo family. Yun Chujiu said with a smile. She believed that Mo Fongbing was a smart person and naturally understood what she meant. Mo Fongbing picked up the book with a slightly unnatural expression. As long as you don't do anything harmful to the Mo family, I naturally don't have so much time to waste on useless things. Hearing Mo Fongbing's words, Yun Chujiu changed the topic. Sister Fongbing, from the information you've gathered, the Wastone Academy and Xingtian Academy seem to be incompatible with each other. Don't tell me that the students on both sides are going to fight for fun. Mo Fongbing's face stiffened. She didn't expect Yun Chujiu's style to change so quickly. Just a moment ago, they were still discussing the matter of snitching, but now, it had shifted to the two academies fighting. Of course not. First of all, there are no martial arts in Tianluo City. Those who violate the rules will be punished by the city rules. Secondly, the two academies also have a clear rule that they are not allowed to fight with the students of the other academy in private. Moreover, if the students of the two academies want to compete, Tianluo City has a special competition stage. As long as the fees are paid, the two sides can compete. Therefore, no one will fight in private. Yun Chujiu was delighted. This rule was good. Even if she was unlucky enough to meet that little bitch, Yi Bingyu, she would not dare to make a move in Tianluo City. As for the Mo family, Yi Bingyu was just a junior of the Yi family. The number of people she could command was limited. She did not dare to be so arrogant as to destroy a third-class family. What Yun Chujiu did not know was that the Yi family was already in a mess. At midnight yesterday, more than half of the doors of the Yi family had been blown to smithereens. Yi Bingjia's courtyard was in an even worse state. Even the house had collapsed into ruins. Fortunately, everyone was a cultivator. Other than being shocked, they didn't suffer any injuries. On the green stone slab of Yi Bingjia's courtyard, there was a huge "kill" written in cinnabar. It was as red as blood, a shocking sight. Yi Bingyu was so scared that she was trembling. She knew that this was a warning. If the other party wanted to kill her, it would be as easy as flipping over her hand. Who was the one who warned her? Yi Bingyu suddenly thought of Yun Chujiu, but she shook her head. She felt that this was impossible. That bitch's spiritual power was so low, how could she have such a strong backer? Then who did it? After the master of the Yi family found out about this, He called Yi Bingyu over and asked her sternly if she had offended anyone recently. Yi Bingyu had already sworn an oath, so naturally, she could not tell anyone about Yun Chuzhou. She could only grit her teeth and say that she had not offended anyone. The master of the Yi family could not get anything out of her, so he had no choice but to have people seal the news and secretly send people to investigate, but they found nothing. The Yi family had no choice but to increase their vigilance to prevent that person from coming to seek revenge again. Yi Bingyu was in a constant state of panic. After thinking about it for a long time, she decided to withdraw the men who had been lying in wait at the border between the eastern and western continents. If there was nothing to be afraid of, then there was nothing to be afraid of. If it really was that slut's backer, then it would be terrible. Yi Bingyu still felt that the Yi family wasn't too safe, so she decided to report to the WA Stone Academy ahead of time. Every time the WA Stone Academy recruited students, they would give each first-class family 2 exemption places. The Yi family's 2 exemption places were given to Yi Bingyu and her cousin, Yi Wenhong. The Lu family's free admission slots were given to Lu Pinyin and Lu Jinluan. As soon as Yi Bingyu and the other 3 entered Tianluo City, Lu Jinluan said in surprise, "Bingyu, look, isn't that stinky girl?" Yi Bingyu followed the direction of Lu Jinluan's finger and looked over. She saw a beautiful girl talking to 3 people. It was the stinky girl she met in the psychedelic forest. Yi Bingyu recalled the humiliation she had suffered that day and quickly walked in front of Yun Chuzhou. "Bitch! You actually dare to come to Tianluo City?" Yun Chuzhou was having a lively conversation with Xue Wuji and the others. When she saw Yi Bingyu and the others, she frowned. It was really a narrow road for enemies. However, she did not dare to do anything in Tianluo City. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Before Yun Chuzhou could say anything, Xue Wuji was already unhappy. He raised his slender phoenix eyes and said, "Who are you? How dare you scold my little sister Jiu? How dare you? Who do you think you are? How dare you?" Yi Bingyu stopped mid-sentence and her face turned red. There was actually such a good-looking man in the world. Xue Wuji did not know that he had met a rotten peach blossom. Seeing that Yi Bingyu had stopped mid-sentence, he could not help but snort coldly. "I'm warning you. If I hear you scold my little 9th sister again in the future, I won't forgive you. Little 9th sister, big brother will treat you to a meal. Don't pay attention to this lunatic." Yun Chuzhou was very smart. The moment she saw Yi Bingyi's appearance, she knew that she had taken a liking to Xue Wuji. She could not help but twitch her lips. Pooey! She actually dared to covet Brother Wuji. How shameless! Brother Wuji left that for my Chi-Chi. "Bingyu, who are they?" Yi Wenhong didn't know what happened in the psychedelic forest and asked in puzzlement. Only then did Yi Bingyu come back to her senses and said perfunctorily, "It's just that there were some small grudges in the past. It's nothing major. Second cousin, I'm hungry. Let's go eat." Hearing Yi Bingyi's words, Yi Wenhong didn't continue to ask further. Lu Pinyin's expression didn't look too good. He had a good impression of Yi Bingyu, so he naturally observed her more carefully than others. He knew that Yi Bingyu was moved by the man in red. Yi Bingyu saw Yun Chuzhou and the other 3 enter a restaurant, and her eyes flashed. She called over a guard and ordered, "Keep an eye on the 4 of them, and then tell me what you've learned." Lu Pinyin's expression became even more unsightly when he heard Yi Bingyi's words. He had pursued her for such a long time, but there was still no progress. She actually paid so much attention to a man that she had only met once. This was really too much. Lu Jinluan was not as meticulous as Lu Pinyin. She even said to Yi Bingyu with a smile, "Bingyu, I didn't expect that slut to know such a good-looking man. TSK, this is the first time I've seen a man wearing red clothes that is so charming with a hint of demonic charm." He is even more handsome than Senior Jean Lin of the WA Stone Academy. Yes, that person is indeed good-looking. I just don't know his identity. Yi Bingyu said with a slightly red face. If that person's family background was similar to hers, she would immediately ask her parents to find someone to matchmake him. Although he's good-looking, his status probably isn't much better. After all, that stinky girl is at most a member of a third-class family. Lu Jinluan curled her lips and said. What was the use of being good-looking? No status was useless. Yi Bingyu knew that Lu Jinluan's guess was very likely to be right, but she still had a glimmer of hope. Even if that person was from a second-class family and begged her parents, they would still agree. When the guards brought back the news the next morning, Yi Bingjia's heart turned cold. That person was actually just an itinerant cultivator who had ascended, not even from a third-class family. Such a person simply did not have the qualifications to marry her. Lu Jinluan had already been reprimanded by her brother. She knew that she had almost made things worse, so she quickly made up for it. She said disdainfully, Bingyu, you wouldn't have taken a fancy to that red-clothed man, would you? Don't be silly. Other than being a little good-looking, not only is that man from a poor family background, but his spiritual power is also only at the first layer of the Ling Xian realm. He is simply trash. In the Immortal Essence continent, strength is revered. Don't be fooled by his appearance. Yi Bingjia's burning heart instantly cooled down. Not bad, he just has a good appearance. Such a man was not worthy of her. The moment her state of mind changed, she was somewhat annoyed at her loss of self-control yesterday. She even hated Xue Wuji in her heart. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Lu Jinluan was delighted when she saw the change in Yi Bingjia's expression. She continued, Bingyu, you also saw it yesterday. That man in red kept calling her little sister. I think the two of them might be lovers. Yi Bingjia's expression became even uglier. She recalled the humiliation she had suffered in the psychedelic forest and wished she could kill Yun Chujio immediately. However, she suddenly recalled the warning she had received a few days ago. In addition to the fact that Tianluo City could not use force. She could only grit her teeth and say, I won't let that bitch off. It's not good for Tianluo City to make a move. Once they leave the city, they'll naturally get someone to capture them. Yi Bingyu planned to capture Yun Chujio and interrogate her backer. If that person was not her backer, then she would kill Yun Chujio. If he really was her backer, then she would make other plans. Bingyu, do you think they are here to apply for the Wuxia Academy or Xingtian Academy? Lu Jinluan asked suspiciously. Yi Bingyu snorted coldly, our Wuxia Academy doesn't accept beggars. They probably can't even afford the tuition fees. I think they are here to apply for the Xingtian Academy. However, with their talent, they won't be able to get in. When the time comes, I will send people to take action. Exactly. The four of them still want to apply for the Wuxia Academy and Sky Punisher Academy. They are simply dreaming. They really overestimate themselves. Lu Jinluan curled her lips and said. At this moment, Yun Chujio and the other three were outside the Wuxia Academy to inquire about the situation. Yun Chujio wanted to keep a low profile, but Xue Wuji, who was attracting the wind, was following beside her. His red clothes were fluttering in the wind, and he had an unparalleled charisma. However, he did not have a trace of feminine femininity. He was so devilish that people could not take their eyes off him. Whether it was the students of the Wuxia Academy or the people who had applied, all of them had their eyes fixed on Xue Wuji. If it was an ordinary person, they would have long felt uncomfortable under the attention of so many people. However, Xue Wuji had grown up under the gaze of so many people since he was young. Naturally, he would not take it to heart. He was very attentive in front of Yun Chujio. Although this fellow had already treated Yun Chujio as his younger sister after he had been raped by that woman, he was still a standard younger sister slave. He was extremely attentive. Hence, those women looked at Yun Chujio with a very unkind gaze. Their jealous gazes were like knives as they swooshed towards Yun Chujio's body. Yun Chujio could not help but curse in her heart. If she had known this would happen, she would have asked Wu Ji's head to help the gigolo. But now, not only was she unable to help, she was actually here to draw hatred. Although Yun Chujio was surrounded by knives, it did not prevent her from scouting for military information. The students who came in and out of the Wa Academy were all wearing expensive clothes, and all of them were full of arrogance. Yun Chujio did not have much opinion about this. If they had money, they could just dress up. No one could care less. It was understandable for them to be proud. Firstly, they had a superior family background, and secondly, they could be considered as a favored son of heaven if they could enter the Wa Stone Academy. The four of them went outside the Xingtian Academy to check again. Xue Wuji still attracted a lot of attention, and the unlucky Yun Chujio still received a lot of sharp knives. The students of Xingtian Academy were obviously dressed much worse than those of the Wa Stone Academy. Although the arrogance on their faces was not as obvious as that of the Wa Stone Academy, it was still more or less there. Yun Chujio was in a dilemma. The scale and situation of the two academies were roughly the same. Which one should she apply for? If the test time was not the same, she could have tried both sides. But the problem was that the test time of both academies was on the same day. What should she do? Yun Chujio pondered for a long time before deciding to apply for the Heaven Punisher Academy. Firstly, she had already found out that Yi Bingyu and the others had the qualifications to be exempted from the examination of the Wa Academy. In order to prevent them from making any small moves, it would be safer to enter the Heaven Punisher Academy. Secondly, this fellow had always been obsessed with the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe. He felt that if he entered the Heaven Punisher Academy to study, he might be able to obtain the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe. If he had the Heaven Punisher Axe, he would be able to save Meng Yanshou when he met Brother Mermaid again. Furthermore, he would also need the Heaven Punisher Axe to release the nightmare beast that was locked up in the forbidden area of the Tianyuan Academy. At the thought of this, Yun Chujio felt some resentment towards the 10,000-year-old fire marrow in her hand. If this 10,000-year-old fire marrow could be used normally, it could also burn the 10,000-year-old mysterious iron chain. It was a pity that this thing was still in its infancy, moreover, it was still in its infancy stage, so it was useless. Let's apply for Xingtian Academy. Yun Chujio said to Xue Wuji and the other two with a smile. Xue Wuji asked in puzzlement, "Little sister Jiu, I think the Wa Stone Academy is not bad. Why did you choose Xingtian Academy?" Jin Ji and Mo Fongbing also looked at Yun Chujio in puzzlement, wanting to hear her reason. Most of the students of the Wa Stone Academy have a deep background. If we provoke them, it will definitely hinder our studies. Therefore, Xingtian Academy is the safer choice, Yun Chujio said with a straight face. Mo Fongbing did not suspect him, but Xue Wuji and Jin Ji's eyes twitched. This fellow was definitely lying. She was never afraid of trouble. Why would she give up on the Wa Stone Academy for such a reason? However, they did not care about which academy they entered. In any case, they would just follow Yun Chujio. After everyone had finished discussing, they went to the Xingtian Academy's registration site to prepare to register. Although there were still a few days before the entrance exam, there were still a lot of people who had registered. After a full 2 hours, it was finally Yun Chujio and the others' turn. The registration was very simple. After checking the identity certificate, they would pay the registration fee and receive a test jade token. Because of Xue Wuji, many people paid attention to Yun Chujio and the other three. Seeing their spiritual power levels, the discussion shifted from Xue Wuji's appearance to their aptitude. TSK, although that red-clothed young master is pretty good-looking, his spiritual power level is only at the first level of the spiritual profound realm. He's actually a good-looking but useless idiot. I think that red-clothed young master is still better. That little girl's spiritual power level is only at the 6th level of the spiritual venerable realm. Is she here to play? 6th level of the spiritual venerable realm? Damn, she really is at the 6th level of the spiritual venerable realm. Who gave her the courage to actually participate in the entrance exam of the Xingtian Academy? I think that the girl in white is slightly better. However, the 2nd level of the Lingxian realm is too low. It is impossible for her to pass the exam. That's right. The lowest level we can register for is the 4th level of the spiritual profound realm. Their registration fee is wasted. Mo Fangbing's face flushed red. She wished she could find a hole to hide in. Jin Ji was slightly better than her, but her expression was a little unnatural. Only Yun Chuzhou and Xue Wuji were talking and laughing as if they hadn't heard anything. Seeing this, Mo Fangbing and Jin Ji decided to throw caution to the wind. They had already signed up anyway, so they could do whatever they wanted. Yi Bingyu soon learned that Yun Chuzhou and the others had signed up for the Xingtian Academy, and she sneered. How could they think that they could get into the Xingtian Academy with just the 4 of them? They really overestimated themselves. 6 days later, the entrance examinations for the Xingtian Academy and the Wa Stone Academy began at the same time. Chapter 2186, The Strange Test. Yun Chuzhou and the other 3 entered Xingtian Academy with the rest of the students. Yun Chuzhou looked at them curiously as she walked. Oh my, as expected of the top academy in the immortal Yuan continent. The size of the academy was at least 10 times the size of the Tian Yuan Academy. The senior students had not officially started their classes yet, so the group only met a few groups of students. Those students were curiously pointing at the participants. Xue Wuji, who was dressed in red, was the center of attention wherever he went, and he was no exception at this moment. Of course, Yun Chuzhou, who was beside him, also made use of him, and the topic was still hot. Xingtian Academy's entrance exam reveals the most handsome candidate. Xingtian Academy's entrance exam reveals the most useless candidate. Even a 6th level spiritual venerable wanted to pass the entrance exam. It was simply a pipe dream. There were more than 10,000 people who participated in the entrance exam. Yun Chuzhou cursed in her heart. She reckoned that Heaven Punisher was too lacking in money, so they relied on this registration fee to make a profit. Everyone arrived at Heaven Punisher's Divine Axe Square. In the middle of the square was a huge axe statue. Although it was just a statue, everyone could feel the ancient divine artifact's primeval aura and majesty and solemnity. Yun Chuzhou almost drooled when she saw it. This axe looked really good. It was definitely more impressive than a kitchen knife and a rolling pin. It would be perfect if she could get her hands on it. Logically speaking, if you were coveting the Xingtian Divine Axe, you should just secretly drool. What the hell were you doing touching it? The 10,000 people who participated in the test and the teachers of the Xingtian Academy saw a little girl squeezing out of the crowd and running to the statue of the Xingtian Divine Axe. She was touching it while swallowing her saliva. The teacher in charge of the test frowned and shouted angrily, "That student who participated in the test, what are you doing?" Yun Chuzhou said very naturally, "Teacher, I have always admired the Heaven Punisher Academy. Today, I finally entered the Heaven Punisher Academy. The moment I saw the Heaven Punisher Divine Axe, I couldn't control my excitement. However, now is the serious time to prepare for the test. I shouldn't have done this. I know I'm wrong. I'll go back now." After saying that, Yun Chuzhou obediently returned to her original position. PL's read on MYB0's Nov LCOM. The corners of the teacher's eyes twitched. Alright, his lines were all finished by that little girl. However, it wasn't a bad thing for this little girl to yearn for the Xingtian Academy. It was just a pity that her spiritual power was too low. She would probably be eliminated in the first round, so there was no need to be harsh on her. Thinking up to this point, the teacher coughed dryly and said, "All of you, sit down and meditate. The first round of the test will begin immediately." Hearing this, everyone sat down and began to meditate. They were all very puzzled. What exactly was the content of the first round of the test? How was the test going to be conducted if they sat down and meditated? At this moment, the teacher said, "The test will begin." When everyone heard this, they anxiously waited for the test to begin. However, when they realized that nothing had happened, they could not help but be dumbfounded. Could this be a test of us meditating? Everyone's doubts did not last for long. Several rays of light rose around the square, and everyone fell into their own illusions. Shui Wuji felt as if he had been in a long dream. When he opened his eyes, he realized that he was not in the Divine Axe Square at all. Instead, he was in a bedroom. Most importantly, he found himself lying on the bed. He wanted to sit up, but he found that other than his head, the rest of his body could not move at all. Chapter 2187 was her, "Damn it! Who dares to plot against me? Come out. If you come out obediently and let me go, I'll spare you. Otherwise, I'll let you die without a complete corpse. If you have the ability to come out and fight me one-on-one, what kind of hero are you hiding? Are you breathing or not? If you don't come out now, I won't be polite. If you don't come out now, I will really not be polite. I will bite my tongue and commit suicide. I will let you go for nothing." Shui Wuji was so angry that he started cursing. Unfortunately, his mouth was dry and he did not see anyone else appear. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Fuck, if he found out who did it, he would definitely cut him into 1,000 pieces. Just as Shui Wuji was fuming with anger, the door creaked open and a woman walked in. When Shui Wuji saw the woman's face, his heart immediately pounded wildly. It was her. It's actually you, this shameless woman. How dare you show up?" Shui Wuji's face flushed red. It was unknown whether he was angry or embarrassed. The woman walked to the bed and looked down at Shui Wuji. She said coldly, "Shameless. You know clearly what happened last time. How dare you criticize me?" Shui Wuji tried to defend himself with a guilty conscience. Even if I was in the wrong at the beginning, but later, Shui Wuji remembered what happened last time, and his face turned even redder. He was usually eloquent, so he couldn't even speak clearly. You didn't say anything for a long time." The woman sneered, "You are so interesting. No matter what happens later, I'm still a victim. Where do you get the face to question me?" "Huh?" Shui Wuji's ears and neck turned red instantly. He was like a boiled shrimp as he roared angrily out of embarrassment. "Pls read on MYB0's Novel, com, let's not talk about what happened last time. Why did you tie me up here? Let me go now. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." The woman used her hand to support the edge of the bed. A few strands of long hair brushed against Shui Wuji's face, and Shui Wuji's face turned even redder. The woman's clear and cold eyes were filled with ridicule. "I think you're quite good-looking." Shui Wuji felt that he had never been so embarrassed in his life. He had actually been molested by a woman several times. He really could not face anyone. Shui Wuji finally managed to squeeze out a sentence with much difficulty. You brought me back. What exactly are you doing?" The woman raised her eyebrows. "Why? To borrow something from you, of course. Although you are a little stupid, you look pretty good." Shui Wuji thought of something and immediately felt embarrassed and angry. He was still looking forward to it shamelessly, but he scolded, "Shameless. I won't listen to you. Even if you get my heart, you can't get my heart." The woman was stunned for a moment, then she laughed. Even the coldness in her eyes faded a little. What do I want your heart for? I'm only interested in your appearance. Xue Wuji was stunned, then his heart was filled with anger. This anger was even stronger than when he had been teased by the woman. His eyes were red as he said, "What do you take me for? Give up on this idea. I'll bite my tongue and commit suicide right now." Xue Wuji was not just saying that. He had been looking forward to it, but now he felt a little sad. Was she only interested in his looks and treated him as a tool for reproduction? Why was her heart so ruthless? Just as Xue Wuji was about to bite his tongue and kill himself, the woman smiled at him. She looked less cold and more enchanting. Xue Wuji's mind went blank. He was not thinking about committing suicide. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.